Hey gang, welcome back to Jade's Garage. Today's video I'm going to be working on the hood for the 68 Mustang known as Jade. If you like these kind of videos, I suggest you hit the subscribe button and the bell notification to see more. Now let me tell you what I'm working on. This hood, which I showed in a previous video, has the cutouts for the turn signals that go on either side. And I wanted to make sure that the inserts were going to fit properly and that everything was going to line up and bolt in and fit like it should before I go any further. Now in the previous video I showed where I had sprayed epoxy on the hood, the fenders, and various other pieces of the car, and at that point my air compressor died. So last week I installed a Cobalt 80-gallon 2-stage air compressor and I mounted it outside the shop. Along with that, I built a shed around the compressor, so I now have the air plumbed into the garage, and it's a lot quieter when that compressor does run, which is a good thing. And if you're interested in seeing those videos, they are on my other channel, Joe Daddy's Workshop. As you know, I try to keep everything focused on car stuff here on Joe Daddy's Garage, and a variety of other things on Joe Daddy's Workshop. So have a look at those if you're interested, and let's move on. Yeah, the big blue wall is up, and now you can hear that compressor running from inside the shop. Not bad at all. I did add insulation on this side of the wall. Of course, this will all get finished out later like I did over there, but for now that's not bad at all. And you've seen this before. These are blankets from Harbor Freight, moving blankets that I just put magnets on and cover up the big metal roll-up door to try to save heat. Now, as I said, there are cutouts built into this hood. To make those cutouts work, or to make things, fit properly, you need to have inserts. This is a kit that I bought from Mustangs Unlimited before they went out of business. So what I have here is an insert and the hardware that attaches it. And I have the second insert with the hardware. Along with that, I have two indicator lights. These are Scott Drake brand, or Scott Drake labeled, I should say. So pair those, and I also have a wiring harness. Now I don't think I need to really do much with the wiring harness, but it may pay to open it up and just get a look inside and see what it has. Of course it has two bulbs, one for each indicator, a 2-prong plug-in, ground wire, and then on this end, just the two different length cables or wires. So I'm going to assume, looking at this, that the green one is going to be for the driver's side and the white one will be for the passenger side. It only makes sense since your wiring connector is on the driver's side of the vehicle. So there's also, there's another ground. So it looks like, now that ground wire is independent. So I guess you're just grounding the hood. So it's probably going to want you to run a screw into the hood and then ground it onto the firewall or something along those lines. That would only make sense because you want to make sure you have a good ground. So I'll put this away and worry about that later. Now I want to point something out here. These pieces are not universal. If you look at it, it's got a wider taper, let's say on this side, so it's going to fit on one side only. It's not going to fit on that side. So they're only made to fit one side of the hood. One of the things I've noticed right off the bat whenever I first started looking at this was some material built up on the casting. That'll come into play whenever you go to set the plate in place, because it's going to want to hit on the edges where the corners sit down in. So that's one thing I need to address. And what I'll do is use a sanding disc and just knock off those little edges there as best I can. There's a little bit of material built up along this edge, and then it smooths out in the front. I'll see if I need to do anything with that. Hopefully I don't, but if I do, I can sand that off. It does have some rough casting around the bolt mounts. Again, that may come into play. I'll clean those up as well, because you don't want the plate to fight setting in place. Well, it shouldn't hurt on the back, because this one goes directly down to the inner structure of the hood, whereas these forward pieces here, these forward holes, they are more critical. And it looks like everything on that location is pretty clean. I do feel a little bit of a burr on these edges, so it may not hurt to knock that down as well. Just help it sit in place. Now, another thing I'll point out, as I'm doing this inner structure here, when I set my set the hood on top of my stand, this kind of bows up a little bit. So be cautious of that. What I'll probably do is put a block of wood somewhere to support this, so that the weight is not on these two inner pieces. I don't want that to be fighting with it. So just letting you know. Okay, as I stated, I put some blocks of wood underneath the front. Now there's a gap I can actually put my hand through, not worry about this inner flange being out of place. So if I set this in now and get a look at it, I can still see this back edge is sitting a little bit high. I can catch my finger on it. The front edge, not too bad. Not too bad. I think that's going to bolt down fine. But all that excess material is making this set funny. So what I will do is sand down some of that material and clean that up. You'll notice I'm taking my time. I'm trying not to be too aggressive. You know, you don't want to damage this thing. I can also feel a burr kind of edge right there that makes it sit a little high, so I'll take that off as well. See how that fits now. That's better. You know, the thing is, these are all aftermarket parts. I don't have any of the original pieces of the hood or these inserts, so I can't say how good these copies are. So you may have to fine-tune, you know, these little edges to try to get it to sit as flush as possible. That's the goal anyway. In a perfect world, this would just go drop right in and fit flush all the way around. But that's not bad, you know. It's going to be a little high here, a little bit high there. But I'll try to clean these edges up a little bit more. I keep saying a little bit. I did a video on an air compressor and I kept saying a little bit, so that's my catchphrase, I guess, right now. It's a little bit. Anyway, I'll grind these down just a small amount more and see if I can't make them fit a little better. So I've done some sanding, like I said. Taking down these edges a bit more, took a little off of these corners just to help that front edge settle down in better, and on this back side took off the edge that ran across here. Now what I found is when I set this in place, it's close. You know, I don't expect it to be perfect. To do that, I would actually probably have to add body filler, sand this thing, and try to get it totally flush. I don't see that as being an option, really. I just want to try to get it as close as I can. Right now, everything is, you know, relatively close. I do notice that it's a little high still on this corner over here. And I think if I take a little material, I almost said it, if I take some more material off of this corner, I can make that drop in some more. So I will continue to take down some of this edge right here. And one other thing that I might do, I'm not sure, is because this corner sits up, I might skim off just a small amount off of this top just to try to get it to transition in a little bit. Alright, it's fitting better and better. Now, one thing I want to point out, when you're doing stuff like this, if you want to, if you can, you know, this is epoxy primer that's on this hood right now. What I want to do is find a way to identify the, say, high point that is interfering with this dropping in. So I can take this, kind of wiggle it around just a little, just a small amount. And then that'll give you what we call a witness mark. So maybe I can get a good angle on that. I don't know, but there's a little black spot right there. And there's another one right here. And what that indicates is where it's making contact. So if I remove some more material, remove that contact point, that should help it sit into the opening better. And you may have to do this multiple times until you finally resolve it. I am mostly happy with this, but I have another issue I need to show you. At this point, this is probably where it's going to end up right now, where it's sitting. It's just a hair high over here, and there's really not a lot more that I want to do to it. It's going to serve its purpose, but there's another issue that I want to show you from underneath on this panel. Hopefully I can film this to where you can see, but the holes do not line up with the holes in the hood. So that means I'm going to have to open up the edges of the holes in the hood with a rotary file. Disappointing, but this is why you do these test fits. Make sure everything lines up before you try to do an end result. You know, if you had done all the paintwork and everything and then tried to just put these in place, you'd be disappointed. So at this point, I'm going to take this out and insert the threaded posts that come with it so that I have something to guide me in to the locations. And whenever I do make my adjustments, I can verify that it will fit. I don't know that I need these in place because they seem to line up, and I don't need something else fighting with me as I try to make this fit. So I'll just focus on these four at the moment. So to show you, if I try to put this in, it doesn't go far enough forward. These corners won't drop in. So another modification has to be made. So what I'll do is cut out a little amount, small amount. I'll I'll remove some material at the front edge of each of these holes. To do that, I will be using my rotary file, or a burr as it's called by some people. Now, I want to verify that these other posts will work. I'll point out the little post has kind of a rounded off end on it, and that should face out. This should go into your insert, bracket, whatever. Aha! Come on, it's almost there. Got it. Okay. By the looks of it, I may need to trim out a small amount on these holes. And these are hitting more on the back edge, you know, because it's a long post. Now what you could do is install it with these front four, and then just come up from the bottom and put these other three in place. It would be probably easier that way. Right now it's just kind of a snug fit. But one way or the other, either you can enlarge those holes or just put the posts in. Now what I want to do is, I could bolt this down completely, but I have other things I want to test. Because you look at these indicators and you wonder, well, how does that attach, right? What it looks like, it attaches off of the two posts right here, two center posts. So let me open up this and we'll see how that goes together. So the kit that I have, there's all the part number stuff on it. If you want to read that, you can. And again, this was Mustangs Unlimited, but you know, collectible now. What's interesting is both that came in the kit, they're both the same, both in appearance. And if you look at it, this thing's kind of got a weird shape to it. I almost thought it would be one side or the other, but it must be a universal piece. And it really just sits on there. Turn it around, and there you can see the orange of the reflector inside there. So let me see. You would hope there would be maybe an offset or something. I hope I don't have to do some other crazy modification to make this fit in here. Oh, you know what? That makes more sense. I'm glad I'm doing this. Oh, look, there's the air compressor. Now that I look at it, it would make sense that this would go in from the bottom. Even that's going to be tricky. Let me show you why. It shouldn't be this difficult, right? It only makes sense that this goes from the underside. You would not want to have this sandwiched in between the hood piece and the insert. So if I were to just try to slip this up, let's say come in from the back, the lens is bigger than the opening right here. So if I come in and set it slightly off, come in ahead of the flange, it still won't fit because this corner, see if I can zoom in a little bit for you. These corners are fighting with the reflector part here. So I can get one hole, but I can't get the other hole. So that means I need to clean up one of or both of the corners on the edge of this hood right here. Just a little more trimming. So you gotta hold your mouth right. Put this piece up in the bottom, bring this piece in from the top, and then run some bolts into it. And even that's gonna fight me. Now it's wanting to sit up a little more. Why is that? Well, now, unless I can make this go up, because I had to slot these holes up here, this, either I need to slot the holes or continue to trim off these corners, because now it won't allow this to sit in the way it's supposed to, or the way I had planned for it. See? Test fit, test fit, test fit. Interesting. Now the little corners of this are hitting. Voila! And that's all it takes. That's it. Well, that'll be the end of this video. This fits much better now that I've modified everything. I still need to do that to this side, and I will probably do the complete process again, you know, side to side, make sure everything fits. Any exposed metal that I ground on will be treated either with self-etch or come back with some epoxy later on. But this is why I stress test fitting all of your parts. I couldn't be more disappointed if I was, if I had finished this, put it on the car, and then trying to do a final assembly and nothing, fits right. That would have been very disappointing. But the point is, test fit, test fit, test fit. So that'll be the end of this video. I want to thank you for watching. I don't know what the next video will be. Hopefully I can get some primer, 2K primer on the hood and the other pieces. I am doing a test fit of the fenders, and also I will test fit the hood. All of the front sheet metal, I want to make sure everything lines up and bolts on properly before I do much else. So that'll probably be the next thing. I'll show maybe bolt everything on and then kind of do an overview of what needs to happen or how things are going. But anyway, when the next video comes out, you'll know. So again, thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, and don't forget, I do have an Amazon page if you want to buy products. I also have t-shirts available on Teespring, along with mugs and a variety of other things. And all of those that have been patrons to my channel, I appreciate that very much. That helps out tremendously. So thank you for that. And yeah, until next time, take care of yourselves. See ya. There's a little bit of material buildup. I do feel a little bit of a burr. I can still see this back edge is sitting a little bit high, but I'll try to clean these edges up a little bit more. I keep saying a little bit. I did a video on the air compressor and I kept saying a little bit, so that's my catchphrase, I guess, right now. It's a little bit. Anyway, I'll grind these down just a small amount more and see if I can't make them fit a little better. A little bit.